So that hair journey started on the porch with my grandmother.
Did she just say porch of my grandmother? Now I'm picturing a porch attached to an old lady.
It has an emotion.
I wanted to talk about this docu-series Hair Tales produced by Tracee Ellis Ross because I saw some things in it that were off. There was definitely a lot of self-soothing talk, like the people Tracee interviewed were all insecure about their hair at one point in their life. In the big picture, the show is just a conversation between Tracee and her guest, which I have no problem with. What I did have a problem with, however, was the undercurrent of superiority and the way they talked, despite the insecurity I also saw. They talk about normal things like spending a long time in a salon session and then act as if they were superior or special because they were supposedly the only ones in the world who did those things. It made me feel like they were projecting a sense of superiority to the world because of their incredible feelings of insecurity. I also saw lots of themes of identity crisis based on bad teachings, language manipulation, creepy repetitive statements, and lots of talk about power, which is not a good thing. There was also some talk of imagined racism in an attempt to paint reality through a leftist viewpoint. Tracee also has some professors and media figures on her show to further push leftist viewpoints because they bring up slavery and racism constantly. The smugness of some of these professionals is very off-putting, which adds to the superiority undercurrent of the entire show.
So that hair journey started on the porch with my grandmother braiding my hair.
Did she just say porch of my grandmother? I played this clip multiple times and I swear she said porch of my grandmother. Captions say with, but I don't believe them. I don't.
She was proud of my hair. That was my claim to fame.
Imagine being proud of something for doing absolutely nothing. It's like saying I'm proud of my fingernails. Why? Because they grow out of my nail beds. Why would you be proud of something that just exists? You usually should be proud of something extraordinary. Proud of something for going above and beyond to do something good.
Black hair takes a long time to do, and that is not a negative, even though we're told that it is. It takes longer to detangle. It takes a while to wash.
Hate to break it to you, but long, thick hair of any texture takes a long time to style, detangle, and wash. Leftists like to take a group they want to elevate as superior and spin a narrative that when this group does something, it's special, different, and better. Stunning and brave and good and perfect. Styling your hair is a universal thing we all do. We all get up and have bedhead. Our hair looks crazy, so we have to shower and then style our hair so we can go to work without looking like Albert Einstein. Everyone who dyes their hair or goes to a stylist knows it takes at least a few hours to get their hair done. If I have a hair appointment, it usually takes a couple of hours because of the time it takes my stylist to color, wash, tone, wash again, detangle, cut, style, and dry my hair. When I got my hair styled for my wedding, it took hours because my hair is thick and I have an ass ton of it. The difference is that I don't go on to Hulu and make a show about how special and unique I am. Stunning and brave and good and perfect because it takes hours to color my hair.
I started out with the cultural, southern, rural upbringing that, girl, your hair is your crown and glory.
I don't think it's a very good idea to tell someone to glorify their hair. What happens if you lose it? Is your life gonna feel like it's over? Whereas if you give the appropriate value to a person's appearance, like you should take care of your hair and make sure your hair is healthy, then they'll know their hair is important, but it's not the most important thing in the world.
And that to even cut your hair was like a sin.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to have a bang.
Because that meant cutting your hair.
Because that meant cutting your hair.
Yeah.
I've watched this episode a couple of times and I noticed that Tracee does this weird thing with Oprah. Tracee will say a statement and then Oprah will repeat it word for word. I thought it was that method of active listening where the person listening will repeat to you what you said. However, this isn't active listening because Oprah is the interviewee and Tracee is the interviewer, but Tracee is the one leading the statement that Oprah copies. If Oprah said the statement and Tracee was copying it, that would be active listening. What's going on here seems like some sort of leading statement, like Tracee is leading Oprah into what she wants Oprah to say, which is weird. It almost felt like when cults make you repeat after them so they can ingrain something in your head.
The photograph that sits on my desk now is me at 8 years old with those two pigtails.
That's the height of narcissism, isn't it? To have a photo of yourself on your own desk, not a photo of someone else that you love. You are the ultimate person whom you love, and you display it proudly so you can show your narcissism to the world.
What from your childhood did you learn about hair?
I learned early on that straighter was better.
Was there a specific place you learned it?
In my grandmother's kitchen in Mississippi, when my Aunt Kate would come for special occasions.
Here, I feel like Oprah was trying to hint at that lie leftists love to complain about, where they think white people's features are the standards everyone is held to. I think it's actually them thinking white people have nice hair and so they want to imitate it. I should also say that some white people have natural curly hair. I feel like we always want the opposite of what we are used to. If someone has straight hair, they will curl their hair on a special occasion because they want to look different. If someone has curly hair, they will straighten their hair on a special occasion because it makes them look different. For my wedding, I curled my hair. My hair is naturally wavy, but if I brush it and blow dry it, it goes straight. I wanted my hair to look special for my wedding, so I curled it. Leftists always try to find some sinister reason for everything, like, ooh, the media said straighter is better, or ooh, history said straighter is better. I think it's literally just people naturally wanting the opposite of what they're used to because they just want to change sometimes.
And that connected with the good event.
That connected with the good event.
Here's the second time the weird repetitive thing happened where Tracee led Oprah into the statement and Oprah just repeated it.
Media is so important in how young women view themselves and view what is beautiful.
The complaint where the media tells girls what to do, and that's why girls have problems, is something that could be solved by not giving media that power over you. When I was a preteen and I was looking at those beauty magazines, I didn't take them seriously. Looking at the magazine was just something for me to do, pretty pictures to look at. Were the celebrities really pretty? Sure. But that didn't have to mean anything else other than a picture of a pretty person. The magazine didn't have any power over me, so I didn't care what the magazine said. I never felt bad about myself because of a magazine. Everyone can get out of this trap by just not giving so much power to the media. Just because someone in the media does something, it doesn't mean anything. All it means is they did it. You have the choice to say, so what? Or, oh, that's cool. Or you can make the choice to get completely sucked in and obsessed with that person and feel bad about yourself because you're not that person. You have these choices, so just don't choose to let that person's decision have power over you.
Madam C.J. Walker was a member of an entire community. In fact, she worked for a woman named Madam Annie Malone. They determined that they were going to turn hairdressing into a career. The genius of those black women.
Here's that manipulation of language again. The use of the word genius, just because black women were creating an industry for themselves to be able to work in where there was a need, is designed to make us think they're superior somehow. Genius is supposed to be reserved for people who are really high on the intellectual scale, and they know things that even someone with an above average intelligence wouldn't know. So when this no leeway lady calls black women geniuses for becoming hairdressers, it's her trying to say black women are so much smarter than other women. She's trying to create this idea that black women are superior. This is why I always felt like these leftists are all on a mission of supremacy. Whichever group they're from, their ultimate goal is always supremacy. The black women were smart, no doubt, in creating an entire industry, but not geniuses. Their innovation in creating their hairstyling career was good because they saw a need, they filled it, and they should be credited for their creation. Not calling them geniuses doesn't take away their credit.
I've understood for a very long time how political hair really is.
This is that leftist thing where they always say everything is political, like they'll say the personal is political. And I recently discovered via James Lindsay that the leftist obsession with power is part of why they always make everything political. They want influence and power, and they think the best way to do that is to insert themselves into politics so they can legislate the crap out of everything to get their way and change society, usually for the worse.
Yeah, the perception, the perceived idea.
The perceived idea.
This is the third time Tracee leads Oprah with a statement.
I want the best perception for you.
And you want the story to be able to be heard.
And you want the story to be able to be heard.
Upon the 4th time Tracee did this, I was very creeped out. They sound like they're in a cult, repeating the words in the exact right order. It does cement my belief that leftists are in a cult, whether they are aware of it or not.
We straighten it, we braid it, we curl it, twist it, but it has a life of its own. It has an emotion. Often when I talk about my hair, I call it's she.
What? It's not sentient. What is happening?
Now, it was the first time I'd ever been called into someone's office or called and reprimanded because my hair, because, yeah.
That's your pride and joy.
That's my pride and joy.
Another repetitive instance. Also, again, putting too much stock into your appearance when you should be joyful and proud of accomplishments.
So now I'm being called in to say, your hair is too thick, it's interfering with the chroma key in the news, and it's interrupting our ability to, portray you well.
When Oprah says it's interrupting our ability to portray you well on the news, her co-workers were trying to help her look her best. They wanted to portray her well when she was on air. But then Oprah is going to turn this into a bad thing, instead of appreciating that her co-workers weren't going to just let her go on air looking crazy. The chroma key also interferes with blonde hair and the color of the green screen. My green screen is too bright for my hair, so sometimes you'll see a weird ring or some flecks around my head when you're watching my videos. Trying to claim that it's because someone is discriminating against a black person when they tell you the chroma key is giving them issues around your head is false. It's the chroma key technology that isn't perfect and might never be perfect.
Well, would you consider, getting your nose done or plastic surgery or having your eyes done? No. Like cutting on my face? Like really cutting on my face? True. True story.
Oprah saying true story after this plastic surgery section of her story makes me feel like this section was a lie. When someone feels the need to say true twice after no one asked, it makes me feel like they're lying. Tracee didn't ask, but Oprah just offers up true story. And people do this when they're insecure about the lie they've just told. Then they quickly say true in an attempt to cover up their insecurity, but it backfires because now they look like they're lying. Earlier in the episode, Tracee did ask Oprah if something was true, and Oprah said yes.
I would listen to every sermon, I would take it in, then I would go back to the playground, I would preach to the children.
Oh, is that true?
Yes, it is very true. They used to say, here come that preacher girl.
That was different. Tracee asked, so it made it more legitimate when Oprah answered. But here, where Oprah just offers up true on the end of her story twice, is suspicious.
Really cutting on my face? True. True story.
It makes me think that these two things she mentioned are facial features she herself is insecure about, but because she doesn't want to have someone cut up her face, she's never done the surgery. She threw this in here while placing blame on some mystery person that supposedly told her to get plastic surgery so that she can push that thought off on someone else rather than just admitting she doesn't like those facial features.
I did not think this is happening to me because I'm black. I thought this is happening to me because I'm not pretty.
It's good that Oprah didn't connect her experience to race. Seeing everything in a racial framework is the problem we have today. Everyone is trying to find racism in everything. You know why everything is divisive? It's because of this mindset.
Every time I wash my hair, it would just fall into the sink. So I am literally falling apart because that is my identity. That is my crowning glory.
See, what did I say? You shouldn't make your hair your identity. Everyone's hair at some point in their life will change, whether that be thinning, turning white or gray, or salon mishaps like this one. So putting all your faith into something that doesn't last is just gonna hurt you. If your identity is comprised of intangible things, like your personality traits, then you'll be okay if something in your outer appearance changes because you'll still have your character. You'll still know who you are, and your appearance won't affect you that much.
Thinking about the impact of the first Black woman Supreme Court justice having natural hair moves me.
Focus on actual child porn cases. United States versus Hess. A man sent 6 pictures of a prepubescent girl that he claimed was his daughter to an undercover law enforcement officer. Officers found over 600 images of child porn, and you in turn sentenced Hess to 60 months. So under the terms of the statute, why did you choose to sentence Hess to the absolute lowest possible sentence you were allowed to sentence under law?
Thank you, Senator.
I would rather have a Supreme Court justice who actually sentences pedophiles to the extent that they deserve, but I guess our priorities are very different. What is a woman?
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? No,
Yeah,
I can't.
you can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So you
I'm not a
believe the meaning
biologist.
of the
We have just been raised to know that the value that is placed on your hair is also connected to the value that people hold for you.
It would seem to me that this teaching should be changed. Valuing someone based on their outer characteristics instead of the person as a whole isn't right, no matter who's doing it. Stop telling your little girls that other people value them differently based on their hair texture. Stop raising them with this belief, and eventually this bad advice will stop being circulated.
You know, after a couple of weeks, it started to grow back. And so I had this teeny weeny afro, and then I had a little weeny afro, and little.
Did she just describe how hair grows?
That's the way that happens.
That's the way that happens.
Another weird instance of Tracee leading Oprah into a repetitive statement.
Well, that sacred relationship.
That's a sacred relationship.
I've lost track of how many times this weird culty behavior has happened, but here's that repetitive statement business again. They also say a relationship between a hairdresser and their client is sacred. It's revealing what they really value in their lives. The hairdresser is important, especially if you're in the public eye a lot for your job, but sacred? No.
And if you got friends who will let you go out the house looking any kind of way, you need to reevaluate those relationships. That is one of the ways you can tell who is going to be with you for the long haul and who's not.
Personally, I think there are much deeper levels to a friendship that would qualify someone to be with me for the long haul. But what can I say? Different priorities. That was all I wanted to talk about in the Oprah episode. Anyone who thinks their hair is their identity is going to have problems, because your hair changes and you can lose it because it's not permanent. The fact that someone would place their entire identity in their outer appearance is probably why so many people suffer from an identity crisis. You should really focus on building your character that can be contained inside you. People say beauty is fleeting, so you should know you aren't always going to be able to rely on it. Your identity ideally should be made up of your personality and your character, not your outer appearance. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next video.